Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing a flashlight torture test between the Olight Odin Mini and the Streamlight ProTac Rail Mount HLX.
Just start. We'll finish.
Quick finishing pass, not too bad, and I'll probably do that.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. He's safe and have fun on the range.
Alright, so first things first, I do have a bias. I'm not an Olight guy, I'm more of a Streamlight guy. I've used Streamlight for 22, maybe 23 years, and I've never had any issues with them. I also use Surefire and Nitecore flashlights, and I love those too. So, just so everyone out there knows, I do have a bias toward Olight, although I've never really used them, and I don't have a real solid concrete reason for not liking them. So we're gonna torture test these. Now, Olight asked me a few times in the past to do a review on their flashlights, and I've kindly declined. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in Olight flashlights. They said, what is it gonna take? I said, you need to buy an equal Streamlight to one of your products. And what did they send? The Olight Odin Mini. Now, this flashlight isn't even out on the market yet. I can't even release this video until November 16th. So anyhow, now all that's out of the way, they did provide both the Odin Olight and the Streamlight. So they're both in their packages, and we're gonna torture test them. Now, a few of the torture tests that I'd like to actually get done here is we'd like to do some drop tests. Just everyday drop tests, you know, people drop stuff. After that, recoil test, a finish abrasion test, and the recoil test is gonna be something heavy like 50 BMG, and something lighter like 223 at a faster pace. And then maybe a temperature test, freezing, heating, you know, to their maximums that they advertise. And then also a deep water test, and that's gonna be at the end of this. So if there's any issues with the flashlights after those tests that we've done, like the drop test or say the recoil test, the water test is gonna show us some real interesting things. Now, neither of these flashlights are rated for very deep. They're both rated for 1 meter. But we're gonna put them probably to a depth, and I've actually kind of made and kind of put together kind of a makeshift pressure vessel. And we're gonna put them around 100 feet of water pressure, which is gonna be around about 40 some PSI. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna open up both these flashlights, take them apart, look at the O-ring seals, see what's inside of them, see what they look like, and go over some of the little details of both flashlights, and then we're gonna start the torture tests. All right, so let's get this open really quick here. Looks like nice packaging, like it matters. You're not really going to use it for the packaging. Looks like some magnetic stuff. Congratulations on the new purchase, and here's what the new Odin Olight Mini looks like. Let's see, little foam. It looks like we got some charger stuff in here. Yep, here's a magnetic charger. You just slap this on the back. It's magnetic, whoop-de-doo. All right, and this is a mount, I believe, for M-LOK that comes with the flashlight. Now, if you just wanted to use a Picatinny, you have to buy a separate mount. They do sell those for about 40 bucks on the website, and this is for the Picatinny mount. Back here looks like the tail cap section with the pressure pad. So it does come with that, so that's kind of nice for all the guys that use pressure pads out there. And then looks like a couple of zip ties and user manual. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Nice aluminum case. Seems like glass. It is a bit of a sharper bezel around the front of the flashlight. Looks like a couple of Allen screws holding this little T-flange on there. And then this is stainless steel. And there's also 3 little points back here as well. And then there's a couple of different little cuts here in the flashlight. And that's pretty much it. Let's take off the tail cap here. All right, so we got a little piece of plastic so it doesn't just go off whenever it feels like it. And in here we have a 18500, a little bit different than the 18650s we're all kind of used to seeing inside these. Take a look in there. Pretty simple. O-ring does have a little bit of synthetic grease on it, just a little bit. That's what the inside of the tail cap looks like. take the front off. Doesn't seem like it, or at least not with the grip strength I possess right now. So that's the Olight. Let's get into the tail of the tank here. So on high, you got 1250 lumens, 900, 700, down to 200 lumens. Looks like the time is 6 minutes at 1250 and up to 5 hours for 200 lumens on low. Looks like your distance is 240 meters. CD, I'm guessing, is Candela rating. Looks like 2300 on low, 1440 on high. Impact 1.5 meters. We're definitely going to be dropping it from further than that. The waterproof depth is IPX8. All that means is a little bit greater than 1 meter. The length is 4.55 inches, so 4.5 inches. Bezel diameter 1 and almost 1/8 of an inch in diameter, and the weight is 6.2 ounces. That's some of the other information. You can pause the video if you're interested in any of that. So moving on to the Streamlight. Let's get this out of here real quick. Oh yeah, let's see if, all right, yeah, that does work. That's kind of interesting. There's like some sort of vibration in here. I don't know if you can hear that. Anyhow, interesting nonetheless. And then here's a Streamlight, more of the same. This aluminum is a 600 series, and it does have Type 2 mil-spec anodize coating on it. You can see there's some Allens holding this on. And actually, this is part of the flashlight body that is right in the center here. And these Allens just bolt these two Picatinny rails together. And then this is actually the tightening screw. Let's take this apart real quick, take a look at it. Nice big, feels like a silicone O-ring. No synthetic grease that I see. Looks like polypropylene plastic back down in there. And then again, aluminum tail cap, 6000 series aluminum. Glass, nice 3-prong bezel. Little anti-roll flats cut into it. Not that it's gonna roll anywhere, it's a rail mount. So let's put the batteries that came with this in there. Now you can use CR123 batteries in this, or you can use 18650 battery, rechargeable 18650s. Wow, that's bright. All right. So cool, that's pretty much it. The Streamlight, 1000 lumens on this. High runtime is 1.25 hours. Low runtime on low is 23 hours. The distance is 332 meters. The weight on this is 6.4 to 6.9 ounces, depending on if you're using the pressure pad or not. Pressure pad is in here. So you can use a tail cap, like it's got on it now, or the pressure pad. And then they give you some other stuff for mounting to the rails, and some zip ties and some extra screws and stuff like that. And the water rating on this one is IPX7, which is 1 meter for 30 minutes. So we're definitely going to be breaking that. The length is 5.43 inches on this flashlight. So just a little bit prouder than the Olight, as you can see. Just a hair heavier. The bezel is a lot bigger than this one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get to some of this torture testing. So that vibration that I was feeling was actually letting me know that the battery is low. It actually does have that nice little feature on the Olight. So when you are charging these Olight batteries, you can see that it is red. When it is all the way charged up, it should change to a blue or green. That's why this wasn't as bright when I first got out. Obviously, it isn't fully charged yet, but I did think that was kind of a nice touch that they did. Anyhow, once this is charged up, we will start torture testing these. So for the drop test, I see no reason to put the flashlights on a firearm and drop the firearm along with the flashlights, because that just doesn't seem right. So here I have a 2x4 with a piece of Picatinny rail screwed to it, and that's what we're going to be using for the drop test. Also, because we're doing torture tests of these flashlights, I believe the warranty is a good thing to bring up. The Olight has a 5-year warranty, and the Streamlight has a limited lifetime warranty on it. Also, both of these flashlights are made in China. Now think about that what you will, although keep in mind that even Surefire has parts internal to that flashlight that are made in China, brought over here, and then assembled in America. Anyhow, I don't know how this test is going to go, so I may as well mention this right now. There is a link in the description to this Olight if you're interested in buying it. I don't know if it's going to survive or not, but we're going to find out. All right, so for the drop test, we have the Streamlight on the 2x4. We're going to be dropping it from a height of 4 feet 3 times, and we're going to see how it does. We're going to leave it on for the whole time, and then we're going to switch it out for the Olight. still work. It's got some, definitely's got some aluminum missing. Took off some of that anodization. Glass is intact. Everything seems to work on the flashlight. Let's try the Olight. Okay, so now I got the Olight here. It's the Olight's turn to get dropped. And 4 feet. It still works. Mount is very, very loose. Little bit of scuffing there, some of the anodization missing, a little bit of aluminum on the back of the tail cap missing right there. I don't know if you can see that. We'll take a close look at them. That mount is really loose though. Let's get these on the bench so you can take a closer look. All right, so here's the flashlights after the drop test. You can see here's a stream light. You can see some of the scratches. Glass is good. Tail cap's good. A little bit of a marring there. That's about it. Olight did pretty good, I'd have to say. A little bit of aluminum coming off of there. The mount, this is their little clip mount. The looseness looks like it's actually coming from this little T though, and that is held on by these 0.5 millimeter Allens. So let's take those out really quick. Let's make sure everything's okay under there. Nothing looks too bad there. Screws here so you can take a look. And at least both these flashlights, these little mounting screws have Loctite on them. That's kind of nice. Well, I'm going to re-Loctite these. I'm going to put this back on and get this back into fighting shape. Okay, so in my mind, both the flashlights did pass the drop test. Now time for the abrasion test. I have a container here filled with different sizes of gravel, and both flashlights I have taped off the glass. I'm not trying to break the glass. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna tape this shut, and we're gonna try putting it on the 4-jaw chuck here, and then spin the lathe up for, let's say, an hour, then see what they both look like. I don't know if you can hear that. It's extremely loud. Let's shut this down. Wow. Let's bring it here. Let's see what these look like now. Ooh, yucky. Oh, there's a stream light. We'll get these wiped down here real quick too. There's the light. Yeah, we definitely have some finish coming off, definitely in little areas here, especially where the sides meet up. The mount definitely took a bit of a pounding. Let's get this little protective tape off of the end. Like I said, I didn't want to break the glass, obviously. Light still works, awesome. Alright, let's look at the stream light. finish, it looks more the same or similar. Maybe this held on just a little bit, I don't know. I guess I just leave that up to you guys what you think, which finish won that one. They look pretty much the same to me, honestly. Let's get this tape off there. Oh yeah. All right, so, well, that's what the finish obviously looked like before, what it looks like now. So yeah. Looks like bigger chunks of the Olight finish came off, but looks like the Olight finish may have won over the Streamlight finish. Like I said, leave a comment in the comment section what you think, how these lights are doing in all these tests, and have a discussion down there about it. Anyhow, on to the next test. All right, so now let's do a temperature test. Right now, inside the freezer, we've got -3 degrees, -1 degrees, somewhere in there. All right, let's put the Olight in there, Streamlight in there, and we'll come back in 24 hours. All right, let's see how they look. Let's see, they're both -2, -3. Let's try the Streamlight. Oh, Jesus, yeah, that's really working. Olight. They both work. There's horrible light in here, I apologize. No, they still work pretty good, so nothing's wrong with them. On to our next test. All right, so it's super cold and windy out here. I hope you can hear what I'm saying. We got the 2 flashlights sitting on the rail, tandem style, on the Bushmaster 50BA. We got the Olight here, we got the Streamlight here, and we got 660 grain PMC 50 BMG rounds here. We're gonna do 10 in succession, see how they do. As you can see, we got both lights on right now. All right, so we got both flashlights on this AR-15. We got a 30 round magazine here. We're just gonna let it rip, shoot as fast as I can, see how some quick recoil these flashlights can take it. Gonna turn both flashlights on. We're gonna let them rip. All right, so now we're gonna do the 7-foot drop test. Gonna hold the 2x4 as high as I can and drop it on this gravel. We're gonna see how the flashlight does. First, the Streamlight. Still works. Mount solid. Now let's do the Olight. All right, now we got the Olight on there. Let's do 3 drops from 7 feet with this. Light still works. Mount is super loose. We're gonna have to go inside and check this again. Okay, let's get this back off that 2x4. You can see how loose that is. The mount isn't moving, but the flashlight is. Might be those two small Allens once again that ended up getting loose. Let's just get this off here really quick. Take a look at it. After the drops, a few more scratches. No worse for the wear. Streamlight, more of the same. And like I said, both of them do still work. But let's take a look at this mount really quick. Get this off of here. Kind of an interesting little mount they have on this Olight. It doesn't seem to be unlocking, but you can see that it is in unlock position. Interesting. Let's see if I can get this off of here. Okay, so I've taken that locking piece out completely. As you see, it's not even there. And this is what it's comprised of, and this just slides back and forth to unlock this little T-bar that's in here. And you can see that there's a very, very tiny screw that you just unscrew here, and then there's a spring, so you can push the lock and go from side to side. But it still will not let go of this. So let me take this over to the bench. Let me get this dislodged. Okay, got that off, and yeah, it is this little T-bar with those tiny, tiny little Allens. Let's take those out again, take a look at everything, make sure everything's okay. And these did have a little bit of Loctite on them the first time, but now I put some better high quality Loctite in there and re-torqued them. And yeah, that one ain't going anywhere. That one doesn't feel good at all. Let's see if I can get this one out. You can see how bad that migrated. There. This one off there. And nope, not gonna happen. It's just rounding off right in there. So I got to extract that, and we can take a look at these threads. Oops, I didn't even have to extract it. It just came right off of there. Interesting. So yeah, it doesn't look, it looks, if you can see right here, get a pointer, there's a little bit of aluminum right here underneath the head. That piece of aluminum, hold on, came off right there in this mount. So this little piece of cast aluminum, it looks like, just basically broke and tore through that head. And you can see the little piece of aluminum right there. There are still threads in here, but yeah, this little mount is junk. Now the flashlight still does work, so we're going to continue the tests and put this underwater to a depth of around that's pressure, equal pressure to at least 100 feet, and yeah, we'll continue our testing. I should probably mention that the Streamlight, yeah, the mount is intact and it's very rugged. These bolts are actually a lot bigger. If you look at the tiny little bolts that the Olight has here on the mount, a little reading on there, you can say it isn't even 1/10 of an inch, or say that 96 thousandths. If I grab the Streamlight and take out one of those fasteners real quick and show you. Get a caliper on there. And we're looking at 0.113 or 14, excuse me. So yeah, a lot more meat there. Anyhow, I'll put these back together. I don't know if I'll get this mount back on this flashlight, and then we'll put it in the pressure vessel. All right, so before we put both of those flashlights in the pressure vessel and test them, I wanted to show you guys how bright they are. We're gonna go outside, we're gonna go to the tree line. It's about 35, 40 yards away. Hit both lights so you guys can see the difference in brightness on both the flashlights. I feel that's important right now. All right, so we're just gonna do this across the width of the street. Here is the Streamlight. Here is the Olight. See the difference in how bright they are? Now let's put them in the pressure vessel. All right, so here's the pressure vessel we're going to be using. Obviously, you can tell it's just a modified weed sprayer. Did put a valve stem here so we can fill it up quick, and put a manual gauge on this side, and we'll be having a digital gauge on the side to pressure it up. This is going to be our vessel. On both flashlights, I did have to remove the mounts. It was kind of easy on the O-light since the mount was already removed. I did put this part back on, Loctited everything back down, and we're ready to go. Obviously, both of them work. We're going to turn them both on, put this outside just in case something goes wrong. I'd rather have water outside than inside the shop. And then we're going to see what they can take at what pressures, at what depths. Now, obviously, I don't think anyone should try this at home, but if you were to happen to do some weird test like this, always wear eye protection. All right, so let's dunk both of these lights. Here's a stream light. And the O-light. O-light's right here, stream light's right here. All right, so right now we are at 44 PSI. I hope you guys can see that. That's also what the manual gauge says. See if I can get you over there. Oh, let me get a flashlight on there. So now, right now, at 44 PSI, they have the pressure on them as if they were at 100 feet of water right now. So that's the pressure that's being exerted on the flashlights. So now I'm just gonna run this ahead. We'll just see what happens to them. Then we'll take them both out of the pressure tester, and we'll see if any water intruded into either one of the flashlights. So while we're waiting for the hour for the pressure vessel to try to emit as much pressure on these flashlights within an hour, if any of you are interested in any kind of SwitchPod merch, you can go over to the Full30 store, go down to the tab SwitchPod. Hopefully I'll put a link in the description at the bottom of the video, and you can get some SwitchPod merch if you're interested. Anyhow, now I'm gonna go throw my safety glasses back on, and we'll go check out those two flashlights. All right, let's check it out. And we still have 43 PSI according to this gauge. Let's hit the pressure valve, let the pressure out. Ooh, interesting. Letting the pressure out that fast might have gotten some water in there. All right, good. Let's check it out. There we go. Maybe that pressure was just enough to turn them off, like hitting the buttons. I'll have to fish these out inside. All right, just dug those out. That was a little bit of a pain in the butt. O-light works. I can hear it vibrating. Oh, there we go. All right, now it works. The button's a little weird. It wouldn't stay on, and I did feel it vibrate. Oop, off. I did feel it vibrate a few times, which means, oh, and that's on again. Okay, so maybe we got some water in that switch. Take a look at it. The stream light. Let's see, we got strobe on. Yeah, it seems to be working. All right, let's take both of them apart and see what they look like on the inside. Oop, that was weird. Hit the button. All right, let's make sure the hands are dry. Let's get all the outside case dry real quick here. All right. Make sure it's off. That rubber seal is intact. Oh yeah, we did get water inside this flashlight.
You can see that 1855 battery does have water all over it. And we do have water. Hold on, let me grab my other flashlight. You can see there is water inside the flashlight. Okay, so that's the Olight. Let's check the Streamlight out. Let's get it all dried off again. Doesn't look like any water inside the glass. Oh, look at that. No traces of water on the cap. There's the two CR123 batteries. Dry. And dry. Let's take a look at the inside of this. Oh yeah, that is dry as a bone. Wow, that is impressive. I gotta be honest with you, that is really impressive. All right, so yeah, interesting how the water was definitely all over this thing. Holy cow. Like, it would be an interesting test to figure out where the water actually made it in. The flashlight. You can see there's no water inside that bezel. That bezel's nice and dry. So what I'm thinking is either it crept past this rubber seal, and that might be the difference, having a silicone seal or a rubber seal. But that felt pretty good. There was a good retention on it, tightening it down. More likely, probably through this. Oh, here, listen to that. Oh, try to get to the microphone. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Yep. Okay, so that is not a watertight seal. That button, that little area there. Okay, so yeah, not, or at least not watertight to the depth that we put it at. Like I said, we just replicated these being 100 feet down in water, which is, like I said, about 43.35 psi. And yeah, that's kind of interesting. So yeah, the Olight, it still works. We can put the battery back in it right now and screw it back down. And the light does. That was working. Oop, there we go. But yeah, well, I guess I'd call that a bit of a fail. So yeah, the mount didn't like these 7-foot drops. It didn't like the 4-foot drops either, but we were able to kind of put it back together, get it tightened back up. And then 7-foot drops, it did not like at all. The Streamlight, I am extremely impressed with the Streamlight. That is crazy. Yep, that's impressive.
So unfortunately, the Olight Odin Mini did not pass the last test. It got filled with water. I even took it apart after that and lightly blew it off with some pneumatic air, and it still just will not turn on right now. So at this point, I'm going to call this one a fail. Now keep in mind that this is a sample set of one, and let me know down in the comments section the experiences you've had with your Olights or the experiences you've had with your Streamlights. That's really all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed the torture test on both these flashlights. And remember that loose is fast, brakes only slow you down, and if you're gonna have a bias towards something, it's always good to have some sort of experience behind that bias. Be safe, have fun on the range, and we'll see you all next time.